إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على دين كله ولو كره الكافرون أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وسارعوا إلى مغفرة من ربكم وجنة عرضها السماوات والأرض أعدت للمتقين الذين ينفقون في السراء والضراء والكاظمين الغيظ والعافين عن الناس والله يحب المحسنين وبعد. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we thank the Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal for giving us life and for giving us the opportunity to fast the month of Ramadan. And we ask Him that He gives us the benefits of the month of Ramadan, even though we may have made mistakes and erred and we did not use the time properly. We ask Him to forgive us for all the sins we have ever committed, and to save us from the punishment of the grave and that of the hellfire, and to save us from the many different anguishes and terrors of the day of judgment. And we ask Him to shade us with His shade. On that day, there is no shade except His shade, Azza wa Jal. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we have just come out from the month of Ramadan, and I'm hoping that we have some sort of iman in us, that we feel as though we are still soaring above the clouds. You know the feeling we get during the month of Ramadan? Even the person that we have some sort of enemy with, sometimes, enmity, or some sort of hatred, or we dislike someone for whatever reason, during the month of Ramadan, we put all those things aside. I hope it doesn't return on the day of Eid and continues, because we are not supposed to be like that. Innamal mu'minuna ikhwa. Only the believers are brothers. A brotherhood that is bounded by faith, by La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal during the month of Ramadan for a lot of forgiveness. We ask Him to shower His mercy upon us and to bless us. And we know the month of Ramadan has been prescribed for us so that we can become pious. Taqwa. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. And some of us feel, maybe all of us felt that sort of taqwa that we didn't feel outside of Ramadan. We felt it. But you know something? Ramadan shouldn't be like a pause. It shouldn't be like a hiccup in your life, that when it finishes, it continues as usual. It should not be like that. It is not supposed to be like that, because the quality of taqwa is required in us right through. The quality of taqwa, of God-fearingness, is required in us right through all of our lives, not just in Ramadan. And we have to thank the Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal and adore Him that He has given us opportunity during Ramadan to rejuvenate our iman, to make our iman soar and make it really nice. But it shouldn't last for Ramadan only. So we have the hadith that speaks about fasting 6 days in Shawwal, or at least 3 days of every month therein. And it will be as though we would fast all through, because the message of Ramadan is still fresh in our minds. And if we were to fast 3 days every single month, and al-hasanatu bi ashri amthaliha, a good deed is multiplied by 10 times. So if you fast 3 days in every other month, outside of Ramadan, it will be as though we are fasting forever. So it is something that is here to bring back our taqwa and to keep it in place at a very nice level that we hope that the Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal will be pleased with us. So Allah Azza wa Jal tells us in the Quran, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ وَعِدَّةٌ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And hasten, hurry to a forgiveness from your Lord. وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. Hasten to a forgiveness from your Lord. Subhanallah. Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling us to hasten towards this forgiveness and a heaven, a garden. The width of it is the heavens and the earth. Have you seen how these crazy people, when they're having these sales, like after Christmas sales and some special sales, and how all these people line up? They line up before they can open the door. The day before they're lining up, or when a movie come out that everybody wants to see, they're lining up the tent, they're making their tents and they stay in the night as though they're doing their i'tikaf. They stay in the whole night and they're waiting for the doors to open, so they rush in. To rush in to see the show, to rush in to buy that CD or whatever, to rush in to get that sale. That when they die, it's going to be left back right here. But Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling us, you all, hasten, hurry up to that forgiveness from your Lord. Hurry up to a Jannah, a garden. You know how big it is? You ever went into a really beautiful garden in this world? You ever really went to a garden? You have the garden here in Port of Spain, right? You ever went into it and see the nice flowers and feel good? Or sometimes some of us, mashallah, we have beautiful gardens in our backyards. You ever went into one? Sometimes we travel far away in America or into London, and they have beautiful gardens there. And you feel good. That's an ordinary garden. This is the garden of Allah Azza wa Jal. You know what he says in Hadith Qudsi? أَعْدَدْتُ لِعِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحِينَ. I have prepared for my righteous servants. Allah Azza wa Jal is saying this. And this is what is in the garden. أَعْدَدْتُ لِعِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحِينَ. مَا لَا عَيْنٌ رَأَتْ. That which no eyes have seen. Subhanallah. That which no eyes have seen. Look at the most beautiful scenery you would ever see in this world. It will not compare to what is there in Jannah. مَا لَا عَيْنٌ رَأَتْ وَلَا أُذُنٌ سَمِعَتْ. Nor any ears have heard. What is the sweetest thing you ever heard in this world? What Allah Azza wa Jal has prepared for us in Jannah is more beautiful than that. وَلَا خَطَرَ عَلَى قَلْبِ الْبَشَرِ. Nor can the heart of any man even imagine it. You can't imagine it. Let your mind run. Let your mind go crazy with imagination. Open up your mind, and whatever beauty, whatever glory you think you can think about, you will not match what Allah Azza wa Jal has. Balha. Zukran. Balha ma atlaqumullah alayh. It says only treasures He has for you. They're treasures. And whatever Allah Azza wa Jal has given you in this world, forget about it. Leave it. Balha, utruk. Leave it. Leave it alone. You are not going to carry any of this in the hereafter. So this is the Jannah. This is the garden He's asking us to hasten towards. But He tells us that it is prepared for that same set of people that fasting has been prescribed for, so that we can achieve taqwa. That same group of people, عِدَّةَ الْمُتَّقِينَ, prepared for the people who are righteous, the people who have taqwa in them. So if we think that our taqwa is there for Ramadan alone, or when we go to Hajj, or when we come Friday in the mosque and it's restricted to the 25, 30 minutes, and I just want to say something. I know a lot of you have to go back to your work and all that, but there's a hadith of Rasulullah ﷺ that speaks about whenever you finish your fard salah and you remain in that same position that you are in, as long as you do not break your wudu or you talk to somebody else or you eat food or anything like that, or you get up, the angels are making dua for you. The angels are making dua for you. And I said before, I know some of you have to hurry back to your work. But when we hurry back to work, we stand 5 minutes outside talking, and then we go this way and go that way, mashallah. But it's okay, because if you have to go back to work, go back to work. We don't want anybody to get fired because of that. But this is a reward that Allah Azza wa Jal has. So He's telling us, the muttaqun, our taqwa should not be reserved for just for certain circumstances. When difficult situation reaches us and we beg Allah Azza wa Jalla at that time, it's for all the time. And we have to be able to recapture the beauty and the essence of Ramadan right through with respect to having that taqwa. Because this is what Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling us. And then He has described, He has given us some characteristics of those people who have that taqwa. He says, الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ. Those people who give, they spend when it is at times of ease, when they have plenty money, and they spend in times of distress. And they give in charity. They give in charity. So the guy comes begging, and you have your last $20 in your pocket. What do? Or you have more, and they beg, and he always comes every Friday begging, and you watch him with disdain. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never rejected anybody coming to ask him for anything, first off. And then hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, hadith Qudsi, where Allah Azza wa Jal says, Yabna Adam, anfik unfik alaik. Where do you think you get your wealth from? Where do you think you get that money in your pocket from? Where do we get our jobs from? Who gave us the opportunity for our jobs? Our halal jobs. If it's haram, change it. Get something halal. Where we get that from? From Allah Azza wa Jal. He has given us the opportunity. Whether we figure that we have gotten our degrees and whatnot, and I work hard and I become a doctor or whatever, engineer, whatever. But our opportunities, the jobs that we have, the money that we collect, all from Allah Azza wa Jal. And He's telling us, Yabna Adam, O son of Adam, O mankind, anfiq, spend your money, unfiq alaik, I will spend on you. This is Al-Ghani talking. This is the rich one talking, Allah Azza wa Jal. He gives whatever He wishes, and nobody can ask Him to account for it. Anfiq, unfiq alaik, spend, I will spend on you. Spend in what? Not to go and, Sheikh said to go and spend, go down and buy a set of clothes and this and that and waste a set of money. Spending mean in what is halal and what is pleasing to Allah Azza wa Jal. So you give to the poor and you give to the needy and you give to the people who cannot have food to eat, and you'll be surprised there are many of them in Trinidad. But we back squeeze. We back squeeze because we don't want to give. So when we can give $100 because we have about $600-700 in our pocket, right, and we're worrying about it, we give 5. But what you give is what you're going to get in return. Multiply by 700, multiply by whatever Allah Azza wa Jal wants. Anfiq unfiq alaik. And this is the whole thing about giving. Abu Bakr used to give everything he had. Abu Bakr used to give everything he had. And when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, what have you left for your family? He said, I have left Allah and His Messenger. To do that, you have to have the iman of Abu Bakr. Perhaps, or something along that line. But do we really, when we back squeeze the money we have and we don't want to give, Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying, Anfiq unfiq alaik, spend, I will spend on you. So when it is easy or when it is difficult, we spend. And there's a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was asked, Ayu sadaqah afdal, which sadaqah is the best? He said, Anta sadaqah, wa anta sahihun shahihun, takhsha al-faqr, wa ta'mulu al-ghina. He says to give, the best of charities to give when you are healthy and miserly. You want to hold back. You are afraid of becoming poor. You are afraid of poverty, and you hope for riches, but you still give. You still give with the understanding that Allah Azza wa Jal, He is the one who ultimately gives. So we must learn to give, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, and do not look down at the person to whom you give. Perhaps that person, the beggar, Allah Azza wa Jal may show him more mercy than He's showing the one who is given. Who knows? Do you know that? يَخْتَصُ بِرَحْمَتِهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Allah Azza wa Jal, He will choose to give His mercy to whomsoever He wishes. How can you say that because I live in a good house, it doesn't leak, I am better than a Muslim guy out there who is begging? How can you say that? How can you say that Allah Azza wa Jal is going to give me more mercy than the other person? How can you? Can you really? You can't. You can't. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Taqwa ha huna." Taqwa is in your heart. It's not in your houses. It's not in our jobs. It's not in whoever we are descendant from. Faris al-Wari say he is descendant from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, it's probably true. Actually, I don't doubt it. It doesn't make him a good person. I'm not saying he's a bad person. It doesn't make him a Muslim. It doesn't make him an automatic entrant into Jannah. It doesn't. Man abta'a bihi amaluhu lam yusri' bihi nasabu. Whosoever is very slow in doing his good deeds, he doesn't do his good deeds. His lineage, whatever it is they pronounce it, will not make him do good deeds or the doer of good deeds. It will not. It's each individual person's taqwa. So the Quran continues. After Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling us about spending, He says, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ. Now this is a very big one, real big. The people who suppress their anger. The people who suppress their anger. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Look at the kind of anger we show each other. Our Muslims inside of here, we are angry with each other because the brother did something, or whatever, or the sister did something, and we vex and we angry and hate. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us we should not be angry on a person more than 3 days. And what we are angry for? Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ. This is a very important quality for anybody who wants to be muttaqi. Anybody who wants to be pious, you have to keep a hold on your anger. Control it. Control your anger. A man came to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and tell him, Awsini. He says, La taqbab. Came to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam just like that. He said, give me advice, O Messenger of Allah. He said, do not become angry. And he kept on repeating it. La taqbab. La taqbab. And when they explain this hadith, it means that yes, people will get angry, but their anger must not show. And this is وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ. They do not let their anger show. It might be reflected because we don't have control over our feelings and the way we look on the outside, really. And we may look as though we are angry. Our eyes may get a little red. We might puff up a little bit. You might breathe a little heavier, but you do not work on it and you keep it down. How many of these foolish men they divorced their wives because they were angry? And they would come crying afterwards saying that they didn't mean it. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Anger. Anger is from shaitan. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us that. فَإِذَا غَضَبَ أَحَدُكُمْ فَلْيَتَوَضَّأْ. So if any one of you become angry, then make wudu. And many other things that we do when we become angry to keep us away from acting upon our anger. In one hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that we should say, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim," because al-ghadab minash shaitan. Wal kadhimin al-ghayz. What about your mother and your father? How much impatient, because impatience and anger go hand in hand. How much impatience we show the people we love, our wives, the wives with respect to their husbands, our parents, our children, our little children growing up. Their deeds are not being recorded yet, their bad deeds or whatnot. And we are angry at them because they do something they didn't obey. Who is the one who would do us something when we don't obey? When we don't obey Allah Azza wa Jal. We ever thought about that? The amount of sins we have piling up on our backs and our necks. And when our children do some little thing wrong, we are angry at them. And we become angry at mom and dad. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Wa la taqul lahuma uff. Don't even say uff to them. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, keep a tab on your anger. To work on your anger is not correct. And I'm sure there must be people here who have done things when they were angry and they regret it now. Don't raise your hands or anything, just introspect. Introspect. Think about it. How many of you may have divorced your wife because you were angry and then you regret it afterwards? How many of you beat your children because they were angry, then you regret it? Say things to your parents or your brothers and your sisters, your neighbors, and then afterwards you regret it. So this is a quality that Allah Azza wa Jal wants from us. وَالْكَاظِمِينَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. And those people who pardon other people when they do them wrong. They pardon them. They don't keep living for it with 20 years. Big brother take all the land. It's wrong, haram for him to do that. And we don't want to see his face at all. And when he dies, we cry. If you want to take the land and you take it already legally, you can't do nothing. Why don't you be the better person and ask Allah to forgive him? It hurts, yeah, it hurts. But he has to face that Yawm al-Qiyamah. Whatever he takes, it will be multiplied by 7 times and will be wrapped around his neck on the day of judgment. And if he's wronged you and you make dua, your dua will be accepted, inshaAllah. Wa'afina lin-nas. Forgiving the people, pardoning them. And this is what Islam is about. Never mind what is happening in the papers and the picture painting of the Muslims in this particular way. This is what the Quran is saying. Wa'afina lin-nas. They pardon people when they are wrong. So if someone wronged me, I should have the faith in Allah Azza wa Jal to pardon that person, whether he asks for forgiveness or not. Man la yarham, la yurham. Whosoever does not show mercy, mercy will not be shown unto them. You know, we go about our lives living and we feel comfortable. We feel comfortable that we are Muslims. We feel comfortable that we're fasting and we're praying and all these other things. And then some other aspects of our Islam lacks very badly, and that affects the whole aura of who we are and what we are. And we need to be very careful of that. We are not perfect and we will make mistakes. But do we really rectify ourselves? When we have bad traits and qualities in ourselves, do we rectify ourselves? Do we make islah? Do we check out ourselves, or are we too proud and arrogant? لا يدخل الجنة من كان في قلبه مثقال حبة من كبر. A person who has an atom weight of arrogance and pride will not enter Jannah. I didn't say it. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it, and I'm repeating what he said. An atom weight of arrogance and pride, that person will not enter Jannah. Imagine that. From Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wallahu yuhibbul muhsinin. And Allah loves those people who do good. So, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we still have a lot of feelings of goodness, of piety, because Ramadan has not long left us. Let us keep as much as we can keep of the lessons of Ramadan. Let us fast some days outside the month of Ramadan so that we can rekindle the lovely feelings that we had We can rekindle the taqwa we felt in Ramadan. We can rekindle the love that we had for each other in Ramadan. The brotherhood, the goodness, the closeness we felt to Allah Azza wa Jal. And I believe it was real. And it could continue being real if we were only to focus on our taqwa, our piety. Ameen. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً أَوْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُم. And then those people who do bad deeds or they wrong themselves, they say that it could be the big deeds and the small deeds. ذَكَرُوا, what they do is that they remember Allah. ذَكَرُوا وَاسْتَغْفَرُوا لِذُنُوبِهِمْ, and they ask forgiveness for their sins. So we do something wrong, big or small, we remember Allah and we ask Him for forgiveness. وَمَنْ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ, and who would forgive sins except Allah? وَلَمْ يُصِرُّوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلُوا, and they are not consistent on the sins that they did. In other words, they don't keep on doing it over and over and over intentionally. So they do something wrong, they know it's wrong, and they intend to do it again. This is when they are persistent on it. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ma asarra man istaghfara wa in aada fil yawmi sab'ina marra." A person is not persistent on a sin as long as he asks Allah for forgiveness and does not go back to do it. As long as he asks Allah for forgiveness, and even though he would do it 70 times for a day. Which means that if we do something wrong, we should acknowledge it, turn to Allah, ask Him for forgiveness. And if perchance we were to do the same thing again, perchance, not intentionally, because if we intend to do it, then we are persistent on it. So this is what they do. This is part of the people who have this taqwa and the people who do good. وَلَمْ يُصِرُّوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلُوا وَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ, and they are not persistent on what they did, and knowingly, أُولَٰئِكَ جَزَاهُمْ مَغْفِرَةٌ مِّن رَبِّهِمْ. The reward of those people is forgiveness from Allah. وَجَنَّاتٌ تَجْرِي مِن تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ, and gardens beneath which rivers flows, and that came at the beginning of the whole set of ayahs. وَنِعْمَ أَجْرُ الْعَامِلِينَ, and how beautiful and how good is the reward of those people who do good. So my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we are not perfect. We are going to make mistakes. The whole thing about it is that we need to get on track. We need to go back and try to achieve the best level of piety, of taqwa we could achieve, not just during the month of Ramadan, not just during the days of Hajj or on the day of Jum'ah, but at all times. And in lieu of that, we have to make the correct choices. We have to make the correct choices, the halal choices, even though it may hurt us financially or otherwise. Make the correct choices for Allah Azza wa Jal. Ibadallah, inna Allah ta'ala qad amrana fil Qur'an al-Kareem an nusalli wa nusallima ala rasulih al-Kareem. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وارض اللهم على الخلفاء الراشدين أبي بكر عمر عثمان وعلي ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم ربنا أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وألف بين قلوب المسلمين وانصر المجاهدين في كل مكان وارجع الخلافة الصحيحة إلينا وثبتها فينا. اللهم ربنا دمر الشرك والمشركين وشقق شمل أعداء الدين كما شققت شمل الحزاب إنك أنت على كل شيء قدير. آمين يا رب العالمين. إن الله يأمركم بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. وأقم الصلاة.